Hello, this is Michèle at Jasami Bookworm Podcast, and I'm delighted to introduce Judith Bowers reading Chapter 8 from The Magic Lantern. Sorry for the 1-week delay on this, as Jasami was closed for a holiday. Thank you very much, and we're looking forward to the next chapter as well.
The Magic Lantern, Chapter 8, Tam is found. It was 9:30, and with nothing mysterious occurring with the magic lantern, the boys all agreed that the best course of action was to go about their usual business of selling newspapers and running messages, taking whatever opportunities they could to talk to the other messenger boys and newsboys across the city. If anyone knew anything about the murder or had seen Tam, it was this ragtag fraternity. Between them, they knew everything that was going on in the city. They had eyes and ears on every street corner. Sandy went with Jamie and Bobby. They would meet with the others later at the Panopticon. Sandy and the two brothers spoke to every newsboy between Trongate and the top of Buchanan Street, but none of them had anything to tell. Then Jamie picked up a bundle of newspapers for his afternoon shift, and they headed back to his pitch at the corner of Trongate and King Street so that he could sell them. It was lunchtime when they got there, and the street was a sea of people. There was a particularly large crowd outside the Panopticon. At first they thought nothing of it. Crowds were usually seen cramming forward to get in to see the various entertainments on view, but when Jamie was suddenly flooded with a rush of customers clamouring from newspapers and jabbering about another body being found... Body? What body? Where? Jamie asked as he handed out newspapers and pocketed pennies. In there, the man said as he snatched a paper and pointed at the Panopticon. They found a body in the zoo, and it looks like it could be the same murderer as killed that old woman in the West End. Jamie, Bobby and Sandy gawped at each other. Sandy grabbed a paper and started scanning the pages. None of the headlines mentioned another body being found. The children made their way up the lane and entered the Panopticon through the side door, instantly caught in the crowd of paying customers who were on their way down to the basement zoo for a gawp at the corpse. They were carried along with the mob through to where the new bear cage was being built. Harry, the zookeeper, stepped out of the crowd and grabbed Jamie and Bobby, pulling them aside and away from the fray. Sandy was left standing on her own, jostled and hustled by the press of people around her. A few moments later, she heard Bobby cry out. She pushed her way through the crowd towards the monkey house and the little back room. The door was open and both boys were sobbing while Harry tried to comfort them. Mr. Pickard, the man who she had thought was Albert the curator, was there too. He looked at Sandy as she entered the room. "What the devil are you doing here, boy?" Mr. Pickard snapped. "It's okay, Mr. Pickard," sniffed Jamie. "Sandy's a pal." "Well, that would explain last night's mischief, I suppose," he said rather harshly, and glowered at Sandy, then looked back at the two sobbing boys and softened his tone. "But, given the circumstances, I suppose we can forget the matter." "What's happened?" asked Sandy. "It seems that young Tam was murdered. Workmen discovered his body this morning." On hearing these words, both brothers wailed and buried their faces and their sobs into the zookeeper's chest. Harry consoled him as best he could. "I think you'd best take the boys home to their mother," Mr. Pickard said softly. "She'll no doubt want her sons with her at this terrible time. And you, boy, you can wait here, I suppose, unless you have anywhere else to go?" he added as he passed Sandy on the way out of the door. Sandy didn't know what to say to her two new friends as they were led away by Harry. She sat on her own in the little room, staring at the oil lamp flames as they flickered behind soot-blackened funnels. She didn't have long to wait before the other boys returned. She began to explain what had happened, then realised she needn't have bothered. Their glum faces told her that they already knew. Word had already spread via the newsboys of the dreadful discovery in the Panopticon Zoo. Well, that's the end of Chapter 8. Please don't forget to join us again for Chapter 9 on Thursday, the 4th of July. Until then, stay safe.